treason.
I just want to say something quickly. Joe Biden has taken to himself to try to single out Florida over COVID. This is a guy who ran for president saying he was going to, quote, shut down the virus. And what has he done? He's imported more virus from around the world by having a wide open southern border. You have hundreds of thousands of people pouring across every month. And it's not just from Mexico. In fact, it's rarely from Mexico. You have over 100 different countries where people are pouring through. Not only are they letting them through, they're then farming them out all across our communities across this country, putting them on planes, putting them on buses. Do you think they're being worried about COVID for that? Of course not. So he's facilitating. Who knows what new variants are out there, but I can tell you whatever variants are around the world, they're coming across that southern border.
President Joe Biden has criticized the governors of Texas and Florida, stating that they need to help or get out of the way in view of new numbers showing a spike in the Delta variant of coronavirus cases in the United States. Biden singled out Florida and Texas, both GOP-led hotspots that have pushed back against coronavirus restrictions, which he said accounted for a third of all new COVID-19 cases in the entire country. Some governors aren't willing to do the right things to make this happen, Biden told reporters. I say to these governors, please help. If you aren't going to help, at least get out of the way of the people who are trying to do the right thing. Let's take a look at news at an NBC affiliate in Texas. This is Local 23, the local NBC News channel, and this news story is dated August 4th, yesterday. City of McAllen to move emergency shelter for COVID-positive migrants. Now, one of the ways that the American mainstream news media controls the news narrative is by selecting which stories are permitted to become national news stories. If a story is not picked up as a national news story, it stays as local news. This is a local news story for a reason. News editors at the cable news networks, NBC News, CBS News, ABC News, CNN News, Washington Post, New York Times, Los Angeles Times, they will not tell you about this local news story. This is in fact how they protected President Obama for 8 years. You might remember there was a great increase of homeless tent cities under Barack Obama. It never made the national news. Why? Because news editors spiked the story and treated tent cities under Obama as a local news story. Therefore, it was not Obama's problem. The city of McAllen announced that the location of the emergency temporary shelters for COVID-positive immigrants will change. On Monday, Hidalgo County and McAllen signed disaster declarations of local disaster regarding the recent spike in asylum-seeking migrants. According to the city of McAllen, since mid-February of 2021, there have been over 7,000 confirmed COVID-positive immigrants released into the city of McAllen, Texas, by the federal government, including over 1,500 new cases in the past 7 days. I don't know how to shout on YouTube because I want you to hear me, but if I could, I would shout this. 1,500 new cases in the past 7 days, and you've got this in Washington blaming the governors of Texas and Florida who do not control our border policy. That would be Joe Biden, who proudly signed executive order after executive order, starting from his first day in office, canceling all of the border restrictions and border enforcement of his predecessor. He was very proud of this. When he put Kamala Harris in charge of border security, she went to countries around Central America and said, I'll address the root causes of poverty. Well, the root causes are, once Biden came into office, our country is being flooded with COVID. Stupid Biden, you caused this influx of COVID. Not the governor of Texas, not the governor of Florida, you, sir. Just as an example here, Let's say you're in Turkey. You'd like to legally immigrate to the United States and possibly get a green card. There are severe and serious requirements for legal immigration. You have to bring a copy of your immunization records. Now this is key. Let's say you had 10 shots as a child in Turkey. You go to the U.S. Embassy, you don't have the paperwork, right? They say, fine, you're going to get a shot for every one of those things that you do not have documentation for. You have to document that you have a vaccination record. An illegal immigrant coming across the border illegally here has no legal immunization record in most cases. They didn't have any immunizations at all in their host country. So illegally, you don't have to have any proof that you're not going to infect American citizens with all sorts of diseases that your country did not take care of, especially in countries with socialized medicine. But if you are a legal immigrant, you have to prove everything, and you have to pay for everything. I know. This is what's required to legally immigrate to the United States. Vaccination fees, and all sorts of other fees, to pay for chest x-rays, blood tests, and urine tests. That's not all. What else do legal immigrants have to do before arriving in the United States, unlike illegal immigrants under Joe Biden? Legal immigrants have to pay in their host country for police background checks to prove that they are not a wanted felon. Here it is right here. Police clearance certificate. Whether or not they have a record of a law enforcement issue. Guess what? When Joe Biden waves in 1 million illegal immigrants in 2021, there's no police background check. There's no police record. It's just come on in and start committing crimes. Any crimes you want in the United States of America. Joe Biden will even provide you a public defender and probably excuse your crime while you're in our country. Thanks, Biden. There's a whole lot I could say here, but if you look at the title of this video, that says it all, doesn't it? The President of the United States took an oath of office, which specifically required him to enforce the border and protect America from enemies, foreign and domestic. This means President Biden is not doing his job, and when he spends his time talking about governors, this man needs to resign or be medically retired from his office. Thank you.
And so he's not shutting down the virus, he's helping to facilitate it in our country. And what is his big solution? What is he so upset about Florida? His solution is he wants to have the government force kindergartners to wear masks in school. You are trying to lock people down. I am standing in your way, and I'm standing for the people of Florida. So why don't you do your job? Why don't you get this border secure? And until you do that, I don't want to hear a blip about COVID from you. Thank you.